Spiritual pussy
enthusiasts.
spiritual pussy
Enthusiasts.
spiritual pussy
Enthusiasts.
spiritual pussy
Enthusiasts.
More action takes place concerning your life while you're asleep than does while you're awake. You see, while you're awake, your subconscious mind has to contend with the conscious facet of mind. Because you take, for example, the conscious mind. Maybe with the conscious mind you say, oh, I sure wish I could get me some more money. Then the conscious mind will come right behind and say, yeah, but you know you can't do that. The conscious mind, if you have not trained it to obey your will offer good suggestions and argue them down right on the spot. You see, a lot of people are laughing, you see, because you know I'm reading you. And I'm going to ask for open confessions about this, as I've done many times before. How many of you have thought of some good that you'd like to be, to do, and to have? And as soon as you thought about it, right away, the conscious mind started arguing it down. That's right. It happens almost all the time, doesn't it? And what happens? The conscious mind immediately begins to give you all the reasons why you can't. And some of you have become a regular prosecuting attorney against yourselves. But you see, the trick is this. The mastermind, Jesus, again says, when you pray, don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing. Now, what does that mean? Now, in the scriptures, the left hand represents the subconscious mind. The right hand represents the conscious mind. And this is why I've taught you in mind science lessons here lately about the transliminal area of mind. The closet that Jesus was talking about when he said, when you pray, enter into your what? Secret closet. And speak to your Father which sees in secret. And your Father which sees in secret will reward you openly. In other words, decide the good which you desire to be, to do, and to have with the conscious mind. And don't let it argue about or ask even how. Decide the good you want to be, to do, and to have with your conscious mind, and immediately go into the closet of the transliminal mind, into your imagination. Imagination takes place in that area of the transliminal mind. And in your imagination, shut up from the question of how and why. Just see and feel yourself being what you want to be, doing what you want to do, and having what you want to have. And even keep that a secret from that reasoning mind. You see, the various facets of mind are good in their various offices, and you have to know their offices. And while you're in the transliminal area of mind, using your imagination, being what you want to be, doing what you want to do, and having what you want to have, this idea is impressed upon the subconscious mind. And you fall asleep, you see, while you're doing this, and the subconscious mind has this idea impressed upon it. And while you're asleep, the conscious mind can't touch the subconscious. It cannot interfere with it. And by the time the conscious mind comes back in the morning, the deal has been sealed. And you see, the right hand didn't know what the left hand was doing, because the right hand was asleep, but the left hand was working. The conscious mind was asleep, but the subconscious, in conjunction with the superconscious mind, were working. So in a sense, and I'll use this term, and I use it advisedly, you have to even learn how to play tricks on your mind. This is why many times it doesn't even pay you to tell everybody about the good that you want to be, to do, and to have. One of the greatest lessons we'll ever learn is to keep our damn mouths shut. Sometimes you can't even tell your husband or your wife. Because you see, there again, that reasoning mind through them will try to talk you out of your good. And I'm pretty good at this business of not telling anybody about the details of what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it until I do it. And then by that time, you see, before they can get their mouths open to say, you can't do that, I have done it. I'm going to preach a sermon soon. I want them to remind me, titled, Who Ever Heard of That? It was one of the favorite expressions of my mother when I was a kid, and I'd tell her about some of the strange things I intended doing. She'd say, who ever heard of that? And I'm sure many of you, sometimes you've told your friends, your relatives, some of the things you wanted to be, to do, and to have, and they sounded strange to them and said, who ever heard of that? Any of you ever had that said to you? Who ever heard of that? And my response now is, I never heard of it, that's why I'm going to do it. But I'm going to teach you now, just learn how to be cool. Don't talk so much. Go in a corner somewhere and write Rev Ike. Don't say too much about it. You see, because I know what you're doing there. You see, when you're writing Rev Ike, you're dealing with your subconscious mind. When you're writing to Rev Ike, you're making a very strong and positive mental transaction. And it's a wonderful thing that I have people in this congregation who come here every week, and still they write to me every week. But you see, when you quiet your mind enough to think about something, to focus your mind upon it, and to write about it, that makes a strong impression. And I found out about making mental secret transactions before I even understood the mind science of it way back in Boston, when a lady came to me and said, Reverend Ike, I got the prayer cloth from you to stop my husband from drinking, and I put it under his mattress and he quit drinking, but he found the prayer cloth and went back to drinking. That's when I instructed you, don't say anything about the prayer cloth, particularly if you are trying to help somebody else with it. You see, the thought which she and I projected toward that man, the good thought, was unknown to his conscious mind. And she and I were working for him, subconscious to subconscious. We didn't go through the conscious mind, so the conscious mind couldn't put up any resistance. You see, that's how I get to people. That's how I get to people who say they don't even believe in me. That's why I say you can't lose with the stuff I use. You don't have to believe with the conscious mind. I can get to you without that. That's why I laugh. Just laugh about it, And another thing that tickles me, that I told somebody today also, you'd be surprised the people who write to me and who have my prayer clause right in their hip pockets, and they swear up and down that they don't know nothing about Reverend Ike. It would surprise you. Reverend Ike? Oh, no, not me. But you see here, in a way, they're smart too. You see, because that way they turn off all that stuff that people would probably say to them, and they still get the benefit. And they don't let the right hand know what the left hand's doing. This is the meaning of the secret disciples of Jesus. A lot of people believed in him, but didn't say anything. All right? So you remember this. Every night just before you fall asleep, you have a golden opportunity. You have an opportunity the likes of which you do not have at any other time. You have the opportunity of giving an order to your subconscious mind to bring to pass the good which you desire, and the subconscious mind will work it out with ease and comfort while you're asleep. Let me hear everybody say golden opportunity. Golden opportunity. Say it again. Golden opportunity. Now you remember this, and I want you folks to start taking charge of your golden opportunity. All of the things that you've been fighting and fussing and fuming about, stop it. And before you go to sleep, just move into the transliminal area of mind and use your imagination to see everything good that you want to be, to do, and to have just happening with ease. And fall asleep in that mood. The subconscious will contact the superconscious and work it out, for his ways are past finding out. And he is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that you can think or ask.
The next point. Once you decide it, then you must believe it. Let me hear you say, believe it. Believe it. The book says belief is mental acceptance. You have to mentally accept what you want. The late Emmett Fox used to use the term the mental equivalent. Let me hear you say the mental equivalent. And I'm going to say it this way. First of all, I'll quote Jesus on it. Jesus says, "To him that hath, to him it shall be given." The only thing that you're going to get is what you've got. Get it? That's right. Somebody said, got it. That's what you're supposed to say. Somebody says, my goodness, you left me somewhere back there at the first got, Reverend Ike. The only thing that you are going to get is what you've got. First of all, this is another way that Reverend Ike says it. If you want something, first get it in your mind. It's in this book somewhere. Until you get it in your mind, you're not going to get it in your hand, or in your bank account, or in your garage, or in your pocket. You must have the mental equivalent. This book will help you to get it. I'll read just one sentence. When you believe in yourself, you become unstoppable. And there's that old saying, where there is a will, there is a way. So I'm going to save the other 2 points until after the break, which we're going to take in just a moment, because I want you to have your books in your hands. On page 184. Now, we have breakthrough tools here. Some of the best breakthrough tools are books and tapes, so that you can hear the word. You know, we talked about the importance of the word. I have a habit, and I'm going to refine this into a seminar. I've promised myself that I was going to do that. I record all of my favorite verses of Scripture, all of my favorite affirmations. I've recorded them onto tapes, and I affirm each one 10 times. And sometimes at a low level, so that it doesn't disturb my conscious mind, I will play maybe 3 of those tapes all night. You see, because the conscious mind has unlimited input. You see, that's where you pick up a lot of stuff and don't know where you got it from. See, that headache that you get, you caught that 5 months ago on the secret storm in the edge of night. You'd be surprised at stuff that your subconscious picks up from those commercials. See, they've got you all primed for that. Not only do they tell you and show you how to have a headache, they tell you what kind of headache to have. You've got an Excedrin. Cross it out. Headache. So when you go to the store, you'll see that past that Excedrin rack, and that Pavlovian response will say, oh yes, this is just what I need. And you will definitely need it. Anyway, you want to take these classes and these services with you, and you can do that on tape. I've brought several very good tapes and books here with us. One I call the Master of Money course. Heaven knows if you are interested in coming to a greater understanding and a unique understanding about money so that you can experience it more than ever before, whatever you need to do that's honest to get this tape, you do it. It contains the series Magnetize Your Mind for Money, the 10 Commandments of Money, and the Psychology of Money. And then there's one, the Master of Prosperity course, that tells you about prosperity, your divine right. You see, it's your divine right. You see, that's another thing, you know, when you pray, a lot of people pray to ask God for things. But you know, everything that you ask for is really already yours. Say that to the person next to you. Everything that you ask for is really already yours. See? And it is by prayer and by praise and by believing and by decision that we take what is already ours. Beloved, I wished above all things that you would prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers, says the Bible. So prosperity is your divine right. And you need to understand that. You see, you're not asking God for something that's not yours. You see, you can't get what's not yours. That's the trouble with some of you. You've been trying to get what's not yours. I have many reputations, and one is a faith healer. I remember one night in Miami, Florida, at the convention center, the building was crowded to the rafters, and I was praying my mass healing prayer for everybody. And, you know, some of the people dropped their crutches and jumped up and started running. Other people got out of wheelchairs and had all kinds of instant demonstrations. There was a little lady there with rheumatism. And so she was sitting on the front row rubbing her knees and, oh, please, Jesus, please, Jesus, please. I looked at her and said, Mama, stop praying like that. She almost dropped her teeth. See? You have to learn what your divine rights are. Good health is my divine right. Let's hear it. Good health is my divine right. And this Master of Prosperity course tells you about that. It also tells you how to be crazy enough to get what you want. See, I'm going to level with you just before the break. Whenever an evangelist say that, you know, he's going to be through in just a few minutes, never take him seriously, by the way.